the town hall in just a couple of minutes. Buenas tardes, gracias por estar con nosotros. Vamos a empezar en algún minuto o dos. Thank you once again for joining us. We are live on Facebook and we are also live on Zoom. We will be with you in just a minute or two. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. My name is Gerardo Loera. I'm the Community of School Administrator for the Huntington Park, Walnut Park, and Vernon Community of Schools. Today, we will be discussing with you a lot of very important information regarding student vaccination requirements in the Los Angeles Unified School District. Bienvenidos, gracias por estar con nosotros. Before we really get started, we've got a couple of housekeeping things to do. We want to make sure that everyone who's joining us is able to hear and understand our information in your primary language. So we have simultaneous interpretation taking place. Please select your language by clicking on the interpretation icon on the bottom right-hand side of your screen if you'd like to hear this in Spanish. Queremos que todos los participantes puedan escuchar esta información en su idioma principal. Si gustan de escuchar esta información en español, nada más necesitan de hacer clic en el icono que está abajo a la derecha y pueden escuchar este town hall en español. We also invite everyone to submit questions via the Q&A button on at the bottom of your Zoom meeting. And we will be answering questions in real time, and we also will have a question and answer session at the end. Les invitamos también a que nos manden preguntas que tengan acerca de la información que están escuchando. Lo pueden usar aquí vía Zoom con el botón que dice ahí el Q&A, la A. If you're joining us on Facebook, you can post your questions on Facebook Live. And we have our fabulous Jessica Fernandez Melendez, who will be responding to those questions in real time. And if you're listening to this video town hall after we've gone live, we will be monitoring those questions that are posted later and responding to everyone as they come in. So on that, here is what we are going to be discussing today. We're going to be discussing the LAUSD student vaccination requirements. We have some really big news here that's a trend-setting piece for the rest of the country. LAUSD has become a standard of practice in regards to responding to COVID-19 and maintaining as many protocols in place to ensure the security and safety of all of our students and staff while they're working here on campus or among their own schools. That's our main focus today. We also will have a question and answer session at the conclusion of our town hall once we've had an opportunity to share the information with you all. By the way, the Huntington Park COS.LAUSD.net is the name of our website. It will share some additional information with you at the conclusion of this town hall that will allow you to know how to find us and how to get your questions answered, as well as learn additional information that go beyond what we're sharing with you today. So once again, my name is Gerardo Loera. I'm the Community of School Administrator for the Huntington Park, Walnut Park, and City of Vernon. On the screen right now, you see all of our team members, some of which are with us today that will be answering your questions here live. Today, we will have Nora Gonzalez, our colleague and fellow principal supervisor, speaking to you live, as well as Nieves Rascon, our operations coordinator, who will be also sharing information with you and responding to questions in real time, as well as at the end when we share during the Q&A. So the rest of the folks that are on the screen are the rest of our team. We are located here on the Miles Elementary campus. We're only a 5-minute driving distance from all of the schools that we support here in the city of Huntington Park, Walnut Park, and Vernon. We're part of LA Unified's district support to schools and all the staff that is serving those schools, including teachers and principals. So let's get right into it. The LAUSD vaccination requirements are in place for students that are age 12 and over. Effective this year, and we'll get specific with you in terms of the dates, all students in LA Unified that are eligible, of course, will have to be vaccinated in order to continue to enroll in-person instruction. And we're going to share with you a couple of educational videos. One will be in English and one will be in Spanish. So it's a very short video, just basically on how do we know that the COVID vaccines are safe for your students. So if you're a Spanish speaker, just sit for a couple of minutes while we play the English video. And if you're an English speaker, sit for a couple of minutes after while we play the Spanish video. So give me a moment and we'll get going.
When people ask me about the safety about vaccines, I try to, first of all, just explain the science. So the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines are based on mRNA technology, and there's been a lot of talk and a lot of press around, is this new and is it studied and how could we possibly know if it's safe if we just developed it 18 months ago? And the reality is mRNA technology has been around for decades, almost 20 years, and we know that it's safe, and we know that we've used it in many other uses, but we haven't done it specifically for coronavirus. So it is new to coronavirus, but is not new technology. And the mRNA technology is cool because you do not have to put any virus into somebody's body. You're really just putting what I call a flag. You're injecting something into the system that your body recognizes and says, hey, what's this message somebody's trying to send me? And your body reads it and says, oh, there's an infection called coronavirus. I should learn how to fight that coronavirus. And that mRNA really just gives it the instructions on how to fight it. And how our bodies fight infection is through antibodies. So we develop antibodies, which then fight the infection and prevent us from getting sick and acquiring coronavirus. And what we found is that this vaccine, through giving it to thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands of people, is not only is it very safe, the side effects of which are very, very low, but it also is very effective.
Okay, now we're going to share the Spanish version of the video.
Yo creo que en este país tenemos el privilegio de un sistema organizado y que funciona cuando se trata de la seguridad de las vacunas. Entonces, primero y principal, antes de una vacuna ir al mercado, ya se han hecho meses de investigaciones. Esos meses y esas miles, cientos de miles de personas nos dejan saber esos efectos secundarios comunes y serios que pueden suceder contra la vacuna, ¿verdad? Todo eso se mira antes de que la vacuna llegue al mercado. Ya cuando la vacuna llega al mercado, no significa que dejamos de buscar efectos secundarios o que ya chao pescado, se la pusimos a la gente y nos olvidamos. No, seguimos buscando, seguimos monitoreando y ahora lo que vamos a conseguir es esos efectos secundarios que pasan en 1 en 1.000.000, ¿verdad? O incluso menos gente. Y cuando eso sucede, el sistema que tenemos ahorita dice, vamos a parar, vamos a investigar qué está sucediendo aquí, si realmente tiene algo que ver con la vacuna, y eso es lo que debería suceder, eso es lo que debe pasar, y creo que en este país, gracias a Dios, tenemos un sistema que funciona así y que es transparente.
Thank you so much for watching this video with us. Basically, we just want to reiterate that we as a school district believe that the vaccine is safe for all students as the medical professionals have advised us that it is. So as I mentioned at the beginning, LA Unified is taking many different strategies and approaches in terms of providing a secure and safe environment for students and staff during this time of COVID for all of our schools and offices throughout the school district. One of those strategies has been to actually put in place the requirement to have both teachers and students vaccinated, and all employees for that matter. So all employees of LA Unified will be required to be fully vaccinated by the 15th of October. That's just a few days from where we are today. And so the processes have been in place for some time in terms of getting all of our staff both to understand the educational pieces around the COVID-19 vaccine and get everybody ready for maintaining their positions basically in LA Unified as a requirement in order for all employees to continue working in LA Unified, they will need to be fully vaccinated. As of today, here in our Huntington Park, Walnut Park, Vernon community of schools, over 90% of our teachers have already been fully vaccinated, and we have a good majority of the rest of them who are already in the process of becoming fully vaccinated. And so that practice was put in place just prior to having the students have to become fully vaccinated. So that's a little update on where we are with the staff. And for now, I'm going to go ahead and give it over to Nora Gonzalez. She's a fellow principal supervisor who works here in our office and supports primarily the 13 elementary schools as a supervisor and support. And so today she's going to be sharing with you some information as well.
Thank you very much, Gerardo, and welcome everyone. And yes, as Gerardo had mentioned, now the requirements and what is it that we're looking for in terms of the students. You've heard about the employees already. So all students who are 12 years and older are required to be fully vaccinated by January 10th, 2022. Now, what is fully vaccinated? What does that mean? That means that any individual who has received the first and the second dose of the vaccine, or in this case, the Johnson & Johnson single required dose, has completed a 2-week period that follows to ensure maximum immunity. So it would be a 2-week period after the second dose. Next, please. Now, the vaccination timeline for the 12-year-olds and older, first dose should be received and administered no later than November 21st. So that's just right around the corner. That's next month. So that is the timeline for the first dose for students to receive. That's November 21st. Now, the second dose has to be received no later than December 19th. That provides that 2-week period that follows to ensure that maximum immunity so that everyone is fully vaccinated by January 10th, 2022. Next one, please.
And actually, Ms. Gonzalez, I thought we'd maybe discuss this point a little bit, because the dates that Ms. Gonzalez has just reviewed with you is that the first dose should happen no later than the 21st of November. We want to highly suggest that you not wait until the last minute, because we do expect a lot of people to do that, and we may have challenges in getting all those vaccines done by November 21st. Now is the time to schedule those appointments. Don't wait until the 21st. Save yourself some stress, save your kids some stress, and get those appointments going sooner rather than later. We cannot emphasize that enough, and we really want to encourage everyone to do that.
Thank you very much, Gerardo. And yes, as Gerardo said, very important, just schedule your appointment as soon as possible. Now, where can you schedule the appointment for all students who are eligible? There are 3 ways that you can schedule the appointment. One is we have mobile vaccination teams. Now, these teams are visiting every middle school and high school to provide all eligible students vaccinations. That is one way. The other, there are neighborhood vaccination clinics. We will be reviewing some of the neighborhood vaccination clinics in our area as well. And those are places that you can also visit. There's also pharmacies, CVS, there's also city and county locations that are providing the vaccine free of charge. So there's 3 different places that you can go to, either mobile, a specific location, or a neighborhood vaccination clinic as well. Now, in terms of the schedule for these sites, we can go to the next one. Today, for example, here at Gage, right next to Miles, they're providing this vaccine from 8 to 5 p.m. And at Holmes Elementary, there's actually a clinic there, and that provides the vaccination from 8 to 3 p.m. And that is actually available for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of this week. Now, the schedule changes on a weekly basis. We have provided the link. You might want to take a photo of that link so that you can access the link and see the schedule for every single week. But for the remainder of the week, on Wednesday, we have Gage next to us. We have Holmes, that's about 2 miles from Miles Elementary School. And then on Thursday, we have Nimitz. That's also one of our middle schools, and that is providing the vaccine from 8 to 3:30. Once again, Holmes, the clinic at Holmes is also providing the vaccine on Thursday. And on Friday, we come back again to Gage from 8 to 5 and also at Holmes. Next, please. And now I'm going to hand it over to Nieves Rascon, who is our operations coordinator, who is going to review some of the specific extracurricular requirements needed for students who want to participate in activities.
Thank you, Ms. Nora. Welcome, everyone. Now that you just received the information for vaccination for 12 years and older, I am now going to specifically speak on the extracurricular programs. So students that are participating in these types of programs will need to take the first dose no later than October 3rd, which is right around the corner. Actually, no, it just passed. And the second vaccine will have to be completed by October 31st. And let me clarify what extracurricular activities are. So if you notice on the screen, it gives you the programs which defines what extracurricular activities are. So if your child is in band, baseball, basketball, cheerleading, cross country, dance, drill, football, golf, lacrosse, soccer, softball, swim, tennis, track and field, volleyball, water polo, and wrestling, they should be able to abide by those dates to be able to continue participating. Now, if they cannot or do not take the vaccines by those dates, they will not be able to participate in the extracurricular activities. So then they will not participate, and their due date for the vaccine will be for January 10th. So they will continue coming to school, and they will just have to follow the January 10th deadline, but not be able to participate in those activities. Next slide. Now, what we do have vaccine exemptions or conditional admissions. The only exemption for now that the district is accepting is medical exemptions. That's it. Any conditional admissions, so the difference between that, and when I mean conditional is that they might accept if an admission, if the child is in foster youth, they are homeless, they're migrant, military family, or students with an IEP. But then you will have to submit those conditional admissions to the district or that exemption, which is medical. Now, I do want to emphasize that the state law does not recognize religious or personal belief exemptions for student immunizations. Next slide. So now we're going to go ahead and view a video. It's in English only for now, how to upload your vaccination record through the Daily Pass. In Spanish and English, if you notice, there's that QR code that there are instructions in written form. However, for the video, it is in English only.
Thank you, Ms. Rascon. I'm going to elaborate just a little bit. Many of you as parents or may have already had your student vaccinated outside of LA Unified School District, and you already have the vaccine record. So what this video is going to show you is what you need to do to upload it into the system for LAUSD to have a record of your child's vaccination record. So it's a pretty simple process, but it does require a few steps, and this video will show you what is necessary in order to do that.
Today, I'll be showing you guys how to upload your COVID-19 vaccination record. The first step is to head over to dailypass.lausd.net. Once you're here, you will scroll down and click on Employees or Students. You will then be asked to sign in with your LAUSD email and password. Once you sign in, you'll end up on this homepage. Here, you'll choose the third option, Submit External COVID-19 Vaccination Record. You will then scroll down and choose between Self or Student. You'll then end up on this page. Here, you'll scroll down and be asked to fill out some information about your vaccination. Some of this information includes your first and second dose dates, the product name, the location in which you received your COVID vaccines, and your dose lot numbers. Once you fill out all this information, you will then be asked to upload a picture of your COVID-19 vaccination card. Once you upload your COVID-19 vaccination card, you should be all set and you can submit. If you would like to reference to these steps, the instructions are posted on our school page at garfieldhs.org.
Thank you, Gerardo, for showing that. Once again, parents, just want to make sure to remind you that the QR code on the screen will give you instructions in both English and Spanish to follow. And again, just to reiterate what Gerardo said, this is if you are outside of LAUSD and you have your child take the vaccination outside of LAUSD, you can follow these instructions to be able to upload them through the Daily Pass. Next screen. This one here is just to let you know, there's a couple links here to schedule an appointment. And that one is also with the QR code. You can go ahead and take a picture of that and it'll take you to the site where you can schedule an appointment. Or to be able to have some help on making an appointment, there's also that link as well that can help you and guide you for your appointment.
And I'm going to elaborate a little bit on that one, Ms. Rascon. So it does, to schedule an appointment does require the daily pass function that students have been using since we've been back in-person instruction. That's the dailypass.lausd.net website. And so that needs to be done right there. Kids are at this point are very familiar with how to use it. You can always ask your child, and I'm sure they will be able to help you through that. If there's any questions about how to set up the appointment, there's a link here that shows you how, a video link, like Ms. Rascon already mentioned. Okay, so we wanted to keep that part of our information right to the bottom line about what we believe parents are interested in knowing about at this point. And we're going to entertain questions here in the Q&A in just a moment. But I just want to remind everybody about why vaccinations are part of LAUSD's overall path to recovery that has 4 pillars around student safety and preparation to continue in-person instruction. The first one centered around health and safety, you know, the COVID protocols that we have in place with hand sanitizers, a daily pass, the weekly testing and the vaccinations, among a whole other slew of strategies that LA Unified is doing. It's all part of our health and safety measures for recovering from the COVID pandemic. We also have other strategies in the district that are intended to accelerate student learning and also student wellness, as well as supports for specialized populations. All of our schools have received additional dollars, both from the state and federal government, as well as the district, to put in place a number of strategies and steps along these 4 pillars to get our kids back on track to where they really need to be. So just a quick piece here, and then we'll go into our Q&A. So the timeline for the budgets have been occurring since July and August, and the schools just completed their budgets for these additional dollars they received just a few days back. And then the school district as a whole will be discussing these budget items at the LAUSD Unified, the LAUSD board meeting, and submitting the ESSER plan to the CDA, the California Department of Education, here at the end of October. So on that note, we are going to entertain now Q&A. We noticed some of you have posted the questions in chat, but what we really want everybody to do is post the questions in Q&A. So we're going to review those now, and then we will also address them as we can that are in the chat. But if you have any questions regarding anything that we just posted, please post them in the Q&A. Feel free to post them in Spanish. We also speak and we can read Spanish. Just give us a moment to do that. So I'm going to take a question here. I'm going to ask Ms. Gonzalez. What enrollment options exist for a student if they decline the vaccine?
So students, Gerardo, students may enroll in the district's online independent study program offered through the City of Angels. And now I see another question. Actually, Gerardo, I'd like you to see if you can let us know about what will the students be required to get booster shots?
Thank you, Ms. Gonzalez. So at this point, the LA Unified students will not be required to get a booster shot. Right now, we're primarily focused on getting the baseline vaccination for all of our students in the district. So no booster shot required yet for students. And let's take another question here. So can a student still attend school if they have not, if they do not get the COVID-19 vaccine? I'm gonna give this back to Ms. Gonzalez.
And the answer to that, Gerardo, is no, they cannot. The deadline for the vaccine is January 10th. So everyone must be fully vaccinated by January 10th. Actually, I see another question. I'm going to hand this over to Nieves. And let's see, there's several here. Now, in terms of the requirement, will this change regular testing requirements?
Can you elaborate, Ms. Nora?
Yes, will this requirement change regular testing requirements?
No, it does not. The January 10th still stand. I'm going to go ahead and I see another question here. If your student turns, if my student turns 12 after Monday, January 10th, I'm going to go ahead and give this to Ms. Nora. How much time do we have to be fully vaccinated?
So a very good question. Thank you. So students who are newly eligible will have 30 days after their 12th birthday to get the first dose. And then they must get the second dose no later than 8 weeks after their 12th birthday.
So there's another question related to that one, Ms. Gonzalez, and thank you for the person who submitted it. So the person who submitted the question says that their child will turn 12 in December, like December 21st. So like in that case, by when will the student need to be vaccinated?
So if they turn 12 by December 21st, then they have 30 days. They would still need that 30 days, even though they're not 12 yet, but they've passed the deadline and they had not turned 12 before to be eligible. They still have the 30 days to get the first dose and then 8 weeks to get the second dose from the date of their birth.
Thank you, Ms. Gonzalez. And I see another question here regarding, I see another question here regarding exemptions. I know Ms. Rascon discussed this a moment ago, but I want to make sure that if somebody joined us late that they actually hear the response to this question. So Ms. Rascon, will there be an exemption for students who do not want to get the vaccine? If so, what does this look like?
So will there be an exemption? I'm sorry, Gerardo, can you go ahead and reiterate that?
So will there be an exemption for students who do not want to get the vaccine? I know you addressed that earlier, but this question still came in, so I want to make sure if somebody joined us after we provided that information, that they still hear the response.
So, sure, no problem. The only exemption right now is the medical exemption. And there is conditional exemptions, but I do want to make it real clear that the state law only recognizes for vaccination or immunizations is the medical exemption. So.
Thank you, Nieves. Gerardo, there's another question here that's appearing quite a bit. And they'd like to know whether parents or guardians need to accompany students to be vaccinated.
So the short answer is no. Eligible students will be vaccinated if they present a vaccination consent signed by the parents. So the parents will have a form that they can basically sign off on and get that as the parent permission. So there's no physical presence required from the parent, but there is a parent consent form that needs to be signed. And we have another question, and we have somebody who said that their daughter is 10 years old, and when can they get vaccinated?
So at this time, Gerardo, the FDA has not approved vaccinations for students who are under 12 years of age. So we need to wait for approval, and we take direction from the CDC.
Thank you. We have another question here just regarding COVID tests and mask requirements. When will the COVID testing stop, and when will masks be removed and no longer required?
I'll answer that. So in terms of the COVID testing, for everyone's safety, to ensure everyone's safety, we will continue with the COVID testing on a weekly basis. And in terms of the mask requirement, again, we take direction from the CDC, and as the cases are lower and we see an improvement, and the state Department of Health, they see an improvement, they will let us know. We take direction from them, and then we move forward with that.
Right. Thank you, Ms. Gonzalez. We take all of our direction regarding the safety measures based on the guidelines provided by the various health departments. We have another question here about the vaccine deadline. Somebody would like to confirm, what about the vaccination deadline for January 10th, 2022? Is this still in effect?
I'll go ahead and answer that. Yes, it is. January 10th is still in effect. And if the child is not vaccinated by that time, they cannot come and participate in anything at the school, actually. They will not be allowed at the school.
Yes, at that point, there will be no in-person instruction available for students who are not vaccinated. They will have to attend the City of Angels option that we have in LA Unified if a student remains as unvaccinated.
Nieves, there is another question, and the question is, what is the process for submitting the medical exemptions?
Thank you, Nora. Once the medical exemption request has been uploaded to the Daily Pass, then the emails associated to the Daily Pass account will be notified. So you'll be notified through email, and then staff members will review the submission, and a follow-up email will be sent once a decision has been made. So there is another question here, and this, Ms. Nora, you can answer. How do I submit my child's medical exemption form?
All right, so actually after the 20th of October, you can sign into the dailypass.lausd.net. Once you sign into the Daily Pass, you'll see a vaccinations tab at the top menu. You select exemption and you answer the questions. You will then be asked to upload the document signed by the doctor as well. And that's how you click submit and you submit the form. Gerardo, there's actually another question. The question is, if my child has already had COVID-19, do they still need to be vaccinated?
Thank you, Ms. Gonzalez. So the short answer to that question is yes. We know that COVID-19, having actual COVID-19 may offer some increased immunity towards the virus. We know that there is still no guarantee that there's full immunity. So the vaccine requirement is true for all students, whether they've had COVID or not. Okay, so we're still looking for some additional questions. So there's a question here about how can we enroll students in City of Angels? Would you like to take that one, Ms. Pascual?
Sure. The way you can enroll your student or your child in City of Angels, if you go to the parent portal, it gives you an option if you would like to have virtual online learning. And when you click on that particular section, it notifies City of Angel to contact you and begin virtual learning. And then make sure that you please, as a courtesy, make sure you call the resident school of your child and notify the office so they can go ahead and make that notification on their records.
Thank you, Ms. Rascon. I will take a question here that asks, if a child does not get vaccinated and is in a magnet program and joins online classes, then decides to get vaccinated and return to school, will they still be in the program? And the answer to that is yes, they will retain their position in the magnet while they get their vaccine in place. So I'll invite the rest of our team to continue to look through the Q&A that we have here to field additional questions. So there's another question here. So unvaccinated students have until January 10th, or must they be enrolled for online instruction by November 21st, 2021? So all students have to be fully vaccinated by January 10th, 2022. They do not need to enroll in any kind of online instruction before that. They would only enroll in online instruction if they're not fully vaccinated and were eligible to be vaccinated after January 10th. Okay, it looks like that is the end of all of the questions that we have. I do want to give people an opportunity to ask additional questions while we are still with you here online. I'll give you another few seconds to pose a question in the Q&A. Please use the Q&A button at the bottom and you can ask any questions related to student vaccinations. There's another question here about, is there a deadline for online enrollment? And the answer is no. Online enrollment is continuous. However, we highly suggest that students do not go back and forth between in-person and online learning, as it would be very disruptive to their educational experience. We want to have all of our students be as stable as possible under these really difficult times. If there's going to be a switch to go to online learning as a result of not wanting to be vaccinated or any other reason, we highly encourage all parents and students to do that, at the beginning or the end, at the transition between semesters. Otherwise, we do think that there will be disruptive to their learning. We have another question here about the number of staff who has not been vaccinated. What will happen to unvaccinated staff if they don't meet the vaccination requirements? So the district's position is firm that any employee of the district that does not meet the vaccination requirements will not continue in their position. So the good news is we have very few of those employees remaining, and we're working with each one of them to figure out exactly what the plan of action is. But the district position is firm, Any unvaccinated employee after October 15th will not continue with LA Unified until they decide to be vaccinated. Any other questions? Okay, so in order to stay connected, here is our website and phone number and email address. We encourage everyone who's been with us today to stay connected with us. We have our website that we regularly post information on, like all the information we shared with you today. If you prefer to speak to somebody, you're not a social media person, the phone number is on the screen. Jessica Fernandez will entertain your questions over the phone. We have email there as well. If you're a social media person, we have a Twitter account. You can follow us at HPCOS1. We have a Facebook account at Huntington Park COS. And we also have an Instagram at HPCOS1. On that note, I want to thank everyone for joining us. Especially want to thank our interpreter, Ms. Javeli, who I neglected to introduce at the very beginning. Ms. Javeli, thank you so much for your support in providing Spanish translation simultaneously today with us, and to all members of our team for joining us. We look forward to working with you throughout the year and serving your children. Thank you so much.